All righty, we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to Thursday night to Dreaming Big with J Squared. I'm Jeannie Solston here with Julie Gettner, and we are so happy that you're here. If you're joining us, please leave us a comment, say hi. If you catch us on the replay, please let us know. We are live on 5 different pages, so you may or may not know who we are. But we've been doing this every Thursday night, talking about dreaming big in our business and in our personal life as well. And tonight we want to talk about a little bit about how to take actions. We've talked about our dreams. We've talked about what's holding us back. We've talked about motivation. We've talked about habits. I mean, we've kind of done all the groundwork. Now, what do we do to take action to turn those dreams into reality? And when Julie and I were thinking about what to do tonight, I looked up something on the internet, thank goodness, and I found 12 steps that turn dreams into reality. And we're going to go through those. We may not get through all of them tonight because I think that they're all really good. And I will put in the comments after we're off. I'll link the article that I found. But I thought they're really good, and it doesn't matter what your dreams are, whether it's business or personal. I think that these really kind of do set the stage no matter what. And I'm just going to jump right in. Julie, stop me whenever you have comments or anything to add. The first one, I thought I really like this one because it says, get your day started great by doing the most important thing first. And I've heard this before because the most important thing is usually the hardest thing that you have to do that day.
You don't want to do.
The thing you don't want to do. And a lot of people wait and we procrastinate. Oh, I'll do it later. I'll get to it. And I know this to be true, that if you just like bite the bullet, get that one thing done, you have just set up the rest of your day to be a success. Because that was your big block. That was your big thing that you had to do. So whatever that is, like when you wake up in the morning, sometimes it could be just getting out of bed, but that big thing that you have to do, really tackle it first, because then everything else is easy.
Yeah, right? It's like takes that weight off of your shoulders. You can just, okay, you got the hard part, the heavy part done. Now you can just tackle the rest of your day.
Yep. Exactly. And like I said, the most important thing you have to do each day is most likely the thing you don't want to do or the hardest thing for whatever reason, So get it out of the way, and then the rest of your day should be pretty easy. I love that one. So, second one is take responsibility for your actions and the process. This one was interesting because it kind of goes into when you can't, you're only responsible for what you're doing. You're only responsible for how you do things. You can't, we've talked about this. I know with Innovative, we've talked about this a lot, is it's not your job how people react to what we do. Like, we give them information. We tell them about our products. We tell them about our business. That's our responsibility, right?
Yep.
It's not my responsibility of how you perceive it or what you do with that information. And we get stuck on that, I think, a lot. Like, we want them to do so. We want them to start products. We want them to join us in this business. Because we see all the good things about it, but that's not our responsibility. Our responsibility is giving that information.
Yep.
Right. So if you're only being responsible for yourself and accountable to yourself for what you say and do every single day, that's kind of all you have to worry about.
Right.
But we do get caught up, I think. It's that we want people to like us. We don't want people to think bad. We don't want people to think, oh, we're crazy. But that's their opinion, right?
Well, we want to control other people's reactions to situations. We want to control responses. And it's not, we just have to do our own thing and let that person make up their mind or do what they're going to do. Just let it go. Just I love that song. I'm gonna start
Yeah,
singing.
yeah.
I won't sing, I promise.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, you have to just take that responsibility for your own actions. Um, whether you decide to do what I'm doing, or whether you decide to follow my lead, or whatever it is, that's up to you. That's on you. I only have control over myself. So
Right.
yeah, that's a huge
Yeah.
one too.
Yeah. And it says, one of the things it says basically, I do what I think is right, and that is my responsibility. And then the rest, the possible result, that's not up to me to decide or to control.
Yep.
And I think we do get a little caught up in that, in our lives, even our personal lives. But if you have a business, or any type of business, I know that we've had that. I've done that before, you know. And I know that Heidi always tells us it's not your responsibility. Like how they take it, or what they hear, what they do with it is not up to us. It's just up to us to share and do what we know is right.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that is a big one. It's also a big one, I think, personally. When you think about friends and family, we tend to want to fix people. We tend to want to try to convince them to think how we think. And really, that's not our place.
Right.
To do that.
Well, and I think one thing, and I don't know if this is, I don't know if I'm skipping ahead, if this is one of the things, I don't know, but it kind of goes along with what we're talking about now, is don't take it personal either.
Right.
If somebody says no, or they don't react the way you think they should, or the way you want them to, don't take it personal. That
Right.
goes along with the let it go. Just, that's on them. It's, move on. There's more people out there. There's more everything out there for you. So just, don't take it personal.
Yeah,
that's huge, because too many people do. And then it's like, they just said no to me. And, and
well,
now you don't want to talk to the next person because they're afraid of that no now.
Yeah. And I think that for that person, it just may not be the right time. We've always said that no really doesn't mean no might mean no, but no can also mean not right now.
Right.
Maybe it's not the right time. I've had people, for even in my business, I've had one of my promoters is a gal who followed me for years and years and years and years, didn't do anything, nothing, wasn't a customer, nothing, but watched. And it was always a no. And then one day it was the right time. And that's just the way it is. But yeah, I like being responsible for only us, only me and what I do. Yep. And this next one I like too, because I've had some days like this. If you don't feel like doing it, start small. This one I think people will relate with, because life happens, right? Life happens. Things happen in our life. And basically what it says is, when you feel emotionally low, or when you're confronted with having to do something you don't want to do, that's life, right? But unfortunately, that's just the way it is. But the best thing to do in those situations is to start small. Like when you're overwhelmed, I think that's a big thing. Like I tell my kids that all the time. And most parents, I think, do tell their kids, when their kids are overwhelmed, let's say schoolwork or whatever, just take one thing at a time.
Yeah.
Start with one thing, do that. And I think, but we forget that for ourselves, right? When I'm having a day and things are coming at me and I'm overwhelmed, I forget to stop, take a breath, slow down, and just tackle one thing at a time. And I love what this says, because it basically says, when you feel like that, just stop, just write, journal for a couple minutes, or lift weights. If you're somebody who works out, spend a minute with getting started on something that scares you. Like, don't try to tackle everything. Don't try to do everything. If you are in a place, and we all get there, we all get emotionally overwhelmed, physically overwhelmed. I mean, life happens. And sometimes we just need to step back and take a breath and just start with something, get it done, and just go one thing at a time.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I was just reading. It also says, because a lot of times when you get it in motion, then the motion continues for the rest of the day. Sometimes you get overwhelmed and you just don't want to start. You're like, I don't know where to start. It's all too much. I have to get this all done today. And I've dealt with that at work, where there's just so much to do. I get like, I can't do this. And instead, you got to stop and say, okay, I can do this. Let's get that done. And then I can do this.
Yeah. And that's where I personally, when I'm in that overwhelmed state, which happens a lot, when we first started talking about this one, I was laughing because in my head, I'm picturing Wesley, my 3-year-old grandson, and I, every day when he leaves here or he's ready to go home, it's like, okay, Wesley, we got to pick up all the toys. And I'm looking at, a room full of toys. He's 3. So there's toys everywhere. And it's like, he gets overwhelmed because there's just too many toys to pick up. Right. And it's like, okay, well, let's just start over here. So, I mean, even at 3 years old, I'm teaching him start with this, and then we'll do that. And then we'll move on to the next one. Then we'll move on to the next one. But I like to, if I have a lot of things going on and I need to stay focused, I will write a list of all the things that I need to do. And, highlight or star next to the top 3 that are must get done that day. And those are the ones. So it's kind of like going back to the number 1, get the most important thing done out of the way. So highlight those, get them done, and then I can focus on the rest of the things. But it's easy to get overwhelmed, get overwhelmed. And if you don't have a plan going into it, that's not good.
Right. Well, and I think in our business too, it can be overwhelming because you want to have, just take for an example, you want to have X amount of volume, you want to have new customers, you want to have, and I think the thought sometimes of, let's just say you have a goal of 20 new customers, and then all of a sudden it's the 20th of the month and you have 2, you can get super overwhelmed with what you haven't done. Right. Instead of just focusing on getting that next one and then focusing on getting the next one, taking that step by step, like it said, start small, just do that next one. Sometimes don't look at the whole picture. Sometimes you just got to look at the next step, and just keep going. So, so that's a good one. This one kind of made me laugh a little bit, but it's also really important. Don't hurt yourself. Okay. First I read that and I was like, wait, what? But then I read what they meant. And I'm going to read it so I don't mess it up. It says, if I don't do what I deep down think is the right thing to do, then I hurt myself and my self-esteem. This one's a deep one, in my opinion, which is funny because it is the smallest explanation on this whole list, but I think it's the deepest because I understand if I'm not doing what I think is right for me, my business, whatever, the only person I'm hurting is me. Right. And then your self-esteem and you doubt and all that comes into play. So, if you're not, I don't know how really to explain this one well, but you have to be true to yourself. You have to be true to yourself. Oh, I hate that thing when it does that.
I was going to say, did somebody just like your comment?
No, I think it just saw the pencil. I just, you have to do what's right. And I think what it means, in my opinion, what it means is if you start wavering or if you start like maybe stretching the truth because you want something to happen, when you try to make something happen, the only person you're hurting is you. Yeah. Do you have any other insight on that one? It's a hard one to explain, but I think
nothing other than, you're exactly right. You just have to do Do what you feel in your heart is right every single day, and you can't go wrong. And don't worry about don't worry about other people's reactions.
Right.
Just do you. And as long as you're doing what you in your heart feel is the right thing to do, then you're good.
Then you're good to go. Yeah. So we'll move on to number 5, a reminder for focus. This one, I think we've kind of touched on it a little bit. And that's to just, you got to remind yourself sometimes of what you're doing and why you're doing it. And that's why I think, back in the beginning when we talked about making our goal sheets and doing all that, it's not a one and done thing. It's like you don't do all that and then put it in the drawer and forget about it. And that's why I think the gratitude journal is so important, because it's something you do every single day. For me, that keeps those priorities on top of mind for me.
Right.
But some of the things that this article talked about is create a simple reminder on a piece of paper, or however you want to do it. Your top 3 priorities in life right now. And what I like about that is those can change depending on where you're at in your life. You could want something one day, but a month later, your priorities might have changed. So keep the top 3 top of mind, so to speak. And then your most important goal or new habit for the next 30 days. So whether you write that, like I write a lot of things in my bathroom mirror because I'm in there every morning, right? So it's an easy place for me to read things. So what's your goal? What is your new habit that you're doing this month? Remind yourself. Don't just say at the first of the month, okay, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and then forget about it.
Right.
It's a habit. Like we talked about, you learned to brush your teeth. You didn't just, do it. And I like this too. And I know that you would too, because you also like quotes and motivation, is write down a quote that means something to you. I have one. It's printed out and on my bathroom wall. It's long, or I would read it to you. But it's something that basically says, life is hard, but you got to keep going every day. And I really like that. So reminding, making reminders of yourself what you're doing. Because again, life can get in the way and you can get off track. And I know that when I don't do my gratitude journal, when I don't make a point, all of a sudden it can be like 5 days and I'm like, whoa, wait, what?
Right.
I didn't do that. It's very easy to fall out of a habit. It's very easy to forget about what you wanted to do. So keep those in front of your eyes every day, however you need to do that. Put it on. I know some people put them on their phone, so that it's on their screen, or put it on the bathroom mirror. My daughter used to have sticky notes all over her, of things that she wanted to accomplish and affirmations and that kind of stuff. But keep it in front of you and remind yourself, this is what you're doing. This is what you're working towards. I think is super important.
These aren't really quotes, but Heidi pointed out one of them. I think we were on the live last week. She said, all of a sudden she says, "You are my sunshine." And I'm like,
yeah.
What are you saying? I have 4 stickers on my computer monitor. One is "You are my sunshine," because that is what I sing to my grandkids all the time. God is good. The best is yet to come.
There you go.
And one word, breathe.
Breathe. And those are things, but
those are my constant reminders.
And that's the thing. We need to remind ourselves. Like we have to, like every morning, and maybe I'll go get it for next time. Because like I said, it's a page, but I read it every single morning. No matter how bad my day was yesterday, I wake up every single day and I read that quote on the wall and I start over. And I think that's super important. So that was number 5. Number 6, what time is it? We're at 6:22. Maybe we'll just do half of these and then we'll
talk fast.
Finish up. Talk fast. Number 6, stay connected to the people in your life. This one we talked about. Stay accountable. Sorry, not connected. That too, but stay accountable to the people in your life. And we've talked about an accountability buddy can help you stay on track. This one, I think, this one is important for a couple of reasons. I know that I'm going to take the challenge that we did as an example. I was a captain. Basically, one, I loved doing it, but two, it held me accountable to be accountable to that team.
Mm-hmm.
I had to be accountable. I had to show up every day for them, because I'll be honest with you, in the beginning, showing up for myself didn't work.
Mm-mm.
I didn't do it. It was like, yeah, okay, I want to, but I don't. I want to, and I don't. But when I had a team that I had to show up and be and kind of lead them and be there for them, it helped me be there for me.
Right.
So I think that reaching out to, family, friends, whatever, and finding that person who's going to help you. I mean, we do that, in Innovative a lot. We kind of push each other and are there for each other. And I think that's super important. But no matter what your goals are, I think having somebody that you can talk to about it, that, says, hey, how you doing? Right. Or when you're having a bad day, you can call and say, I don't know what to do. And you can say, no, take a breath. And, I think the accountability is a good thing to have other people, because, we're just not that great at being accountable to ourselves.
Mm-mm. No.
So I think that just because we're almost at time, I think we'll stop, because there's 6 more and we'll do that next time. But I will link this in the comments on my page. And just so everyone knows, we will take next week off because it is the 4th of July. And I hope everybody's got big plans. But I really enjoyed this series, so far, because I think we keep building on something that I think is super important. And I don't know. I just think people need reminders, that they can do things. And I think a lot of people start off with big dreams and then it fizzles because they don't know how to follow through on it. I know I have.
Yeah. Well, that's there's a lot of reasons for that, but most of it is just the fact that we stop believing.
Mm-hmm.
We think we can do it. We think we're like the little engine that could.
Yeah.
I think I can, but then something happens that pulls us off track. And it's just really easy to get derailed in any aspect of your life.
And especially if you don't have steps to get back. Like, we all get derailed. You just need a plan.
Yep.
You need a plan to get back. Like, whatever that plan looks like for you, because it can be different, whether it be talking to a friend every day or, reading that quote. Literally, that quote just gets me. I'm like, okay, it's kind of like a conversation with myself. It says, right. All right, get going. You can do this type of thing. But I think, I hope that we're helping people through this. I mean, I've enjoyed it and I look forward to continue. So I would ask people, you guys, if you have questions or if you have anything you want us to talk about, mm-hmm. please drop it in the comments of one of our pages that you're seeing this, because we would love to. But we will finish this and go through the next 6 in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and that would be on July 11th.
July 11th. There you go. Wow. Okay. Can I just say, I told you before we got on here, I have to say it. I heard this on the way home and it kind of blew my mind a little bit. They were like, yeah, second half of the year starts on Monday. And I just kind of was like, what? Wait a minute. What? Where did the first half go? Like, I was like, oh, wow. Oh, July 1st is Monday. Yeah.
Yep.
It has gone by super fast.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, Julie, thank you always. Always. It's been fun. And I hope everyone has a great 4th of July next week. And we will see you all in a couple weeks.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.